In today's video, we'll be learning how to cut and sew a high low bubu kaftan dress with Fringe design. I have 2 yards of silk fabric here, and I have 2 yards of Fringe design as well. The length of the fringe is about 12 inches long. I'm gonna need to fold my fabric into 4. I'll be cutting my front and back together. So the first thing I'm going to do now is to draw my starting line. Then from the folded edge, I impute half of my shoulder measurement, which is 8 inches. Then from there, I impute my sleeve length, which is 10 inches. Then from the folded edge, I impute my neck width, which is 3.5 inches. And my back neck depth is 1 inches. And my front neck depth is 8 inches. Then I'll connect the points. I connected my back with the curve and my front neckline as well. I connected it to the 8 inches mark. I'm using a freehand here. I don't want my neckline to be a sharp V. Then I came down by 1 inch from my starting line and I connected that to my neck width to form my shoulder slants. Then the next thing I did was to come down by 11 inches from my shoulder slants to form my armhole depth. You can use about 8 or 9 inches for a smaller person. So on that point, all I did was to impute the quarter of my bust circumference plus 3 inches for ease. The quarter of my bust circumference is 11 plus 3 inches, that's 15 inches. The next thing I did was to place my shoulder to my hip line measurements, which is 25. Then on that point, I impute quarter of my hip circumference plus 3 inches for ease. The next thing I did was to place my shoulder to my full length measurement. My actual full length is 57 inches, but I'll be deducting 12 inches, which is for the fringe, from my full length. So I'll be left with 45 inches. So what I will measure now on my fabric is 45 inches. My shoulder to the full length is 45 inches. When I had the 12 inches for fringe, it will complete my 57 inches. I hope you understand that. So I'll be placing the same measurement I have on my hip line. I'll be placing the same thing on my hem line as well. Then I'm going to be connecting my points now. I connected my hip line to my hem line first. Then I'll be connecting that to my sleeve opening or to my armhole. Then the next thing I did was to blend my armhole into the line with a curve. Then the next thing I'm going to do now is to cut out. I'm going to be cutting my back neckline first. I'll be cutting my shoulders now. I left about ½ inch to join my shoulders. So I'll be cutting out the back pattern first. Then I left about ½ inch on the hem. So the next thing I'll do now is to remove my back pattern. So I'll be cutting my front neckline now. So I'll cut my front neckline now. So to get my high-low effect, All I did was to come up by 5 inches from my hemline. You can also come up as much as you want, but I'll be working with 5 inches for mine. Then I'm going to connect that with my curve jeweler into my side seam. You can also connect the points with your free hand. You don't have to use a ruler. Then I'm going to cut that out. So that is the high-low effect on the front. Then the next thing I'll do now is to tape my neckline with a bias. You can also use a facing if that is what you want. So I've gone ahead to take my neckline with a bias. I've done that for the front and for the back neckline. So the next thing I will do now is to join my shoulders. I'm going to join my front and back shoulders together, right side facing each other. I'm going to join that with 1/2 inch. So I've gone ahead to join my shoulders here. And I already end my sleeve as well, 1/2 inch twice. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to join my side seam. I've placed my fabric right side facing each other, and I'm going to join my side seam. So I've gone ahead to join my side seam here. So I've gone ahead to join my side seam here, and I've hemmed the down part of my dress as well. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to join the fringe to my dress. So you can see the high-low effect of our dress now. You can see the front is lower than the back. So all I'm going to do now is to place my fringe on the hem of the dress. I'm going to place the right side of my fringe like that. But I don't want to sew directly on my fringe, so I'll be placing a bias on it like this. So I'll be sewing the bias on it. I'll sew one end of the bias first before sewing the second end as well. I'm going to do that round the hem of my dress. So this is it after I was done sewing the fringe on the hem of my dress. This is the final look of my dress. I hope you find this video helpful. And please do not forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.